All right, everyone. Welcome to Tea with Fran. Fran, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
Good. And Justin, yourself?
Doing good.
And a thumbs up. That's good. That's got to mean something.
Thumbs up are so BS sometimes. It's like, yeah, thumbs up. Just forget,
Was that a fake thumbs up?
Might have been a fake thumbs up.
An empty gesture. I would expect better from you. So yeah, we want to talk about some food today. Let's start with what's in front of us. Fran, what have you decided to serve for this episode?
Well, I think almost everyone likes these little fish.
Goldfish. How can you go wrong?
Right. And I know that you really like these.
Yeah, it is candy. Those sugar almonds.
They're almonds. But it's the season for fruit. Wonderful fruit is coming in.
Blueberries right now.
The blueberries are good, and the strawberries and the peaches are coming in.
Tangerines, nectarines, all the Irenes, whatever.
That's right. And it's so important to buy locally because come winter, everything is shipped. It's picked at a different time and then it's shipped and it doesn't taste the same.
Pumped with HGH.
Right.
Human growth. Yeah, it gets pumped with human growth hormones, not even hormones.
So now's the time to savor the food.
Yeah. I like that. Savor summer and savor the food of summer.
Yes.
If someone offers you a slice of watermelon, eat it.
Absolutely.
That's what we're saying.
Yeah.
Right.
If you, a bad slice of watermelon, like when it just has no flavor, that's
I have, but when have you had? That's like literally a rind. When it's like translucent, when have you had like a translucent watermelon? Right now, I mean, they're all good, but like I haven't had it's a bad watermelon. I feel like is hard to come by.
That's a good thing.
Overripe is. I mean,
when it's too sweet, yeah.
Well, the center gets too mushy.
Yeah,
and
people used to put like vodka bottles in those things.
Oh yeah,
I think they still do.
I think they do.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do that next episode. Eat some vodka watermelon. Okay, maybe not, Fran. It's just a joke. So Fran, I wanted to, maybe we'll start with kind of going back, think back to your childhood and what are some early food memories you have?
All right. Well, first of all, I'm from Daytona Beach, Florida.
Daytona.
All right. And my mother was a Southern cook. And my mother fried almost everything.
Sounds delicious.
And we had fried chicken, fried fish, and she made wonderful hush puppies and wonderful biscuits, and then from scratch. Everything was from scratch. Yeah. She also made really good banana pudding. And people were coming. She always made banana pudding, and it was delicious. But those are basically Christmas time. She made divinity. I don't know if you've ever had that kind of candy, but
I'm sure I've heard of it.
Oh, well, it's white, and it's a lot of egg. But a lot of eggs are involved in it, and pecans. And she would stand and get it at a certain temperature and pull it out, and then plop it on to like a sheet of wax paper, and it would make like little minarets, and it was delicious. I never learned to make it. And it's an interesting thing about my mother in that she never taught me to cook. I cleaned up, but I didn't cook. And it was 4 years in home ec that really taught me to cook. In my days in high school, girls took 4 years of home ec and the guys took 4 years of shop. And I did ask if I could take shop 1 year, and they said absolutely not, that girls didn't do that.
Wow.
Yeah. That wouldn't fly now. Now everybody can do everything,
Yeah.
Whatever you want to do it.
Well, it's a good thing I had 4 years of home ec, because when I married Dan in 1960, I suddenly discovered that everybody in his family knew everything about cooking because they were a restaurant family.
That's right.
And everything about food for them was like the finishing touches, the fresh herbs that were used, a squeeze of lemon juice right at the end, bringing up all the flavors.
Yeah.
and never buy any of your herbs in the big sizes because they change. And Dan's dad would come and he would open up my herbs and he would smell them and he'd say, "This one's no good. No, 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 no. We have to go shopping," because they had to be really pungent.
Mhm.
And so I learned a lot about cooking from his family.
Wow.
So that's really been what my life has been about. And then with Dan, we always had the Quincy food, but we also had the Pennsylvania food. We had the Florida food, the Georgia food, wherever we went. In fact, we also would often have like a little club. We would get our neighbors together, or friends and neighbors, and we would meet once a month, and it was a cooking club. And we would decide from month to month what the theme would be next time, whether it would be Hawaiian or Chinese or Indian, or we would pick anything we could dream up. Or it could be just potluck. It didn't matter.
Yeah.
But it was a good way to get friends together. In fact, I think that's what food is about. It's bringing people together. You sit and you have something good to eat, and you spend time looking into each other's eyes and talking and really sharing your heart. And I think it's the center of our life. And people who don't sit down at a table and do that, think about the people who just use microwave TV dinner.
Eat in their cars.
Or sit in the car or go and watch television, and they don't talk. They watch TV while they eat. And they're missing this whole thing that food brings you together, and the tasting of food and the passing of food and the joy of eating comes from sharing it.
Yeah.
I mean, the spirit of this podcast is based on it.
Yes.
I mean, it's called Tea with Fran, but all those times we had tea, there was always cookies and nuts and seeds and something to snack on. And
Yeah.
I mean, that absolutely fits in with what we're doing here. And I think we all promote that. I know I definitely eat with plenty of people outside the podcast, and I can assume the same for Justin as well.
Yeah, I love eating out. And like, my thing is, it's like, it doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter if you're at, a run-of-the-mill restaurant or a 5-star restaurant. It's the company you're with.
Yes.
Yes. So it doesn't, I can have just as good as a meal at a not so great restaurant if I'm with the right people. But food's still got to be good.
Right.
Don't serve me crap.
When you think of holidays throughout the year, isn't food involved?
Yeah.
How about every event? A big birthday party last weekend for Evan?
Yep. Plenty of food. And I think, so, I love my mother dearly. I'm assuming she loves me as well. But my mom, and Justin can attest to this, does not use the word love. She does not hang up the phone and say, "I love you." But before she hangs up the phone, she'll tell you everything there is to eat in the fridge. Even if you're home
That's love.
And the fridge is in front of you, she would tell you, like, well, this is on this shelf, this is on that shelf. So, when Justin has come over,
usually get the hell out of my house. Who
invited you? What are you doing here? You need to leave. And then
here's the menu. Here's everything. We got these leftovers. I'm making this. This is in the oven. It's just, I'm like, all right.
Yeah. Once I realized that that's how my mother says, "I love you," I just notice it all the time now.
Yes.
And it's always been so funny because, Justin and I have been friends for almost 20 years. And probably once we got into high school and Justin got more annoying to my parents, I don't know.
Yeah.
Or my mom realized she didn't have to treat him as a guest. He was just like another.
Give me respect. I give you none.
he was just another mouth to feed, essentially.
Yep.
That's when she really started just going, "Oh, what do you want? What are you doing?" But meals with the family is so important for me. And Justin has been a part of so many at my parents' house. And when he used to live near this one bakery, it'd be a Friday. My mom would be doing a big fish dinner. And I'd be like, all right, I'm going to tell Justin, if Justin's coming, he needs to bring 2 loaves of Italian bread from
Calandra. I worked right over there on Fairfield, right one of the offices. Leave, pick it up, and right on the way.
Right. So the food was very important to this gathering.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, and I can picture us like already like sitting down, we're getting ready to eat, and he had a little bit of a drive, and he would show up like right at the beginning, and there he is with a loaf under each arm, and that, when you think about it, it's like now here's like the final touches, just to
Right.
drop it off and leave.
Yeah. That's my fare for the meal. I bring the bread, and then
Right.
I'm allowed to eat the other stuff.
Right. One of the things I love about the kitchen at your house, Kevin, is that there are 2 huge tables.
Yeah,
It's wonderful. It's so inviting. It's just marvelous to be there.
It feels like a 12-foot table.
It's just wonderful to be
yeah,
there.
you can like put the different like the extra sections in on that, on the one table, and those got put in and just never removed because they're always needed. Yeah, it's been wonderful. I recently was talking to an old boss of mine, and he texted me and he goes, "I don't understand why you're still in New Jersey." Because I was talking about my trip to Alaska or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, as soon as I hate my family, I was like, I'm so out of here.
Yeah.
But I just, it means too much to me to stay here. So that's why I'm still.
Of course, family is much more important than a place.
Speaking of old coworkers, this just came to mind talking about food. I had one when I was working in South Dakota, and he was making his lunch one day, and he was just heating up a can of beans and cutting up hot dogs and putting it in, pork and beans.
Disgusting.
And I was like, "You're really, going to enjoy that?" And he goes, "Kevin, I don't care about the quality of the food. I care about the quantity of the food." And I was just like, that is not, I don't think that's an approach I would like to take, but
Yeah.
No.
he was happy with that.
No. Well,
I recently told him about the podcast. Hopefully he doesn't tune into this one.
well, maybe he
who
will.
cares?
But, some people call food comfort. When things are really going wrong in their life, there are certain foods that they really want. It could be chocolate cake.
I
It could
love
be
cake.
It could be blueberry pie or something, But when things are wrong, that comforts them. And the problem with that, if you use food for comfort, is that sometimes you have more calories than you don't burn them all. So you put on weight, and then you have another problem. So, they talk about Americans. They can always spot Americans in Europe because they're usually overweight. But it's always such a shock when you travel somewhere and you don't see anybody overweight.
Yeah.
But you do here,
Like one thing that's nice is with me not drinking is how much more I can eat. I'm just like,
Yeah.
I mean, I've always been able to eat a lot, but now it's like, I can maintain whatever it is, like my weight, which I've actually I'm like down to my target weight, which is awesome. But now I'm able to just replace the calories with food.
With good
works.
food, yeah.
Except I've been eating probably way too much cake. And like, granted, I've been to a lot of parties, but like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just been getting my sweet tooth came back. I used to not really care for like, that kind of stuff. And now I'm just like, it's back.
Yeah, well, sugar.
We're not health experts, so we can't talk on the growth of obesity in this country.
Yes.
No pun
It's
intended.
big. Yeah.
Yeah, it's big.
But,
It is big. Yeah,
Can you say that's a noticeable thing from your childhood to now? That
absolutely. I can remember not just my childhood. I don't think I ever knew growing up any kid that was heavy. None at all. I mean, that just was not an issue. And when I started teaching in 1960.
Oh, that's funny. You really got to see these kids like kind of like blow up.
Oh,
like
yeah.
every year they come in
Yeah.
a little.
In 1960, there were no kids. When we built this house and we finally settled in here, and my first year, that was over at Lounsbury Hollow Middle School, there was only one kid that was overweight. And the nurse would invite that kid to come in and have lunch with her. And so they would talk about food and about chewing your food well and picking vegetables over the sweets, how a little small piece of fudge has, is enough. That's the calories for the whole meal, just that one little small piece. Well, by the time I left Lounsbury, there were quite a few kids that were overweight, and it would start to grow where instead of having one person with the nurse at lunch, there would be 4 or 5 or 6. It started that way. And I remember thinking about it, that I kept seeing, even though the kids were still running and doing all the things that kids do and the afternoon sports, they were still gaining weight. And then I started to wonder if it was just in the food. Like, is it that a kind of sweetener that they put in everything almost? What is
quantity? Is
what?
It intake?
Yeah.
Combination of.
And I still really don't know, except that even recently, I was looking at the girls going to the prom in their prom dresses, and not all of them, but most of them were heavier than girls used to be. I don't know. What is it? What is it?
Just a couple things. Imagine that, this one kid you remember being overweight, like that, like that's your memory of him. And then talk about something you probably could not do in this day and age is take someone's child away from their normal lunch period and have them sit with the nurse. I bet, just imagine the parent that,
the parent that storms in there with like 200 pounds heavier than the kid.
See, and that's, see, that's true. But they were doing it. The nurse made it a special thing, and it was a lot of fun. She always had
maybe kids were putting on weight to go to that fun lunch. You know what I'm saying? It's not like a bad idea.
Well, I just know everything was different then. Yeah. Everything was different. But there was just one kid that was overweight. So we do need to remember that being overweight taxes the whole body.
Absolutely.
Especially
that taxes the whole body because your whole body's paying for it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Well, that's really goes down to decision and choice. Decisions you make, that has, that taxes on something.
Right.
And this one happens to be the body.
It's definitely, it seems, I don't know if it's just culturally, everyone is living such a fast-paced life that they just want fast, easy meals, and those tend to be loaded with too many calories and high in salt and sugar and processed food that, to sit down and, grill. I think another problem is just portion control.
Yeah, and also,
we're such a gluttonous society.
Yeah. Yes, like your friend that was talking about, it's the quantity. They want more food, supersize it. There's an ad I saw just yesterday, and I'm not going to talk about the name of the company that was advertising it. But
you can say it. We can.
It was
after. I want to know.
Was supposed to be a cheeseburger, but it was a double cheeseburger, drawing you in to eat something that you couldn't even really get your mouth around. You know how tall that thing looked, and it was double cheeseburgers. A double cheeseburger.
Yeah. When I'm feeling that way, and I want it, I'm gonna get it.
Yeah. One benefit is now that
I love Five Guys burgers and fries. It's funny. I'm going out to Vegas, and one of the guys. I work with a bunch of different people, and one of the guys out there, we like going off the strip for lunch. The amount of times I can close my eyes, I always stay at Harris. Right to the right, you have the Venetian, which has Cut and Tao, which Tao is a great Asian fusion place, but I like the one in Chicago better. But I know I have the Vegas Strip memorized in my head. Close my eyes outside the left of Harris. You go through, cut through the links, go to the Flamingo. Across the street, you have Caesars. Right next to
anybody with a map of Vegas. After that, right in if this is wrong. You have the Cosmopolitan.
Okay. I know. Okay. So for me, I'm get off the strip. So I'm take me somewhere not anywhere in this vicinity. So we've gone to just where it's you know what, let's just be cheap. And cause you go into some of these meals, I've had those crazy expensive meals, but at the same time, I'm just craving give me some Five Guys burgers and fries, or there's a place called
no free ads.
Juan's Flamin' Fajitas. They're good. I don't know, just different shit, man.
I know. Yeah.
I'm just venting. No, because I'm going back to Vegas, and
it's on your mind. Yeah, it's on your mind. I understand.
Not there too much.
Yeah, and I don't think this is news for any of our listeners out there, but the American diet is not great. I don't have the information at all, but that whole like food pyramid that we were taught growing up. It was just like eat a lot of bread. It's like bread isn't good for you though. Like it really should just have been focused on vegetables and fruits and natural things. I mean, my advice as far as when you go shopping, I mean, that's you want to lose weight, you control what you buy. You know, if you're buying stuff and keep it in your house, you're going to eat it.
Yeah.
But the advice I heard that I stick with is when you grocery shop the perimeter. Because that's where the produce is, that's where the meat is, and the dairy stuff. Most of the stuff in the aisles, unless you're going down, you know, getting beans or rice or something like that, like walk down the cereal aisle. I mean, it is sensory overload.
Dude, I've been on a kick with so I haven't had cereal in years.
Okay.
And I just been on a kick of just buying Reese's Puffs.
Oh, they have Reese's
Puffs are still around and they're still delicious. So what I do is I have my Reese's Puff, I chop up like a banana in there with it. You know, it's all about getting that fusion together with the milk. Oh, it's good.
Well, they now have in the cereal aisle, not where children's eyes are, but a little bit higher up, they have keto cereal.
Interesting.
With high protein in it.
I feel like it should be like eating cardboard. I don't know. I just figured grainy.
Yeah. Well, and it's sweetened though with stevia and things like that. Okay. It's for the people who are eating carefully.
Okay.
Yeah. Keto's a certain kind of diet.
You're saying Reese's Puffs on a certain kind of diet? 'Cause
that student Fran remembers from all those years ago probably helped develop. I was in like the tasting group to get the approval for that food.
Yeah, but I have to see the bananas in there, and I don't have it like as. I mean, every now and then.
So
I'll have
adding
it in the morning.
something healthy to something extremely unhealthy, that's not how that like does. I don't think that balances out like you.
Well, it just makes it a little better because it's a nice treat. Like if I look at the box, like how much it's a good dessert, right? I'm like, I don't know. You put on that, you put on a show, you eat a bowl of Reese's Puffs, and you have some fruit, and you call it a day. You're good.
I can only speak on.
I can justify that
on my experience, but when I look back on what was like a typical diet growing up was you wake up as a kid and you have a bowl of sugary cereal with milk.
Yeah.
And there's a couple 100 calories to start the day. Maybe a glass of orange juice, which orange juice is just as sugary as like a can of soda.
Yes, it is.
That was like a big push years ago by orange people.
Right.
So like
the orange people.
Really,
this is a Trump thing. Trump got involved.
It was actually Oompa Loompas that said you had to have oranges with breakfast.
That's why they raided his house in Mar-a-Lago. We're like, we need to know what you did with the oranges.
Yes. All right. So you have that, and then maybe you have a little mid-morning snack, and then you have cold cuts, like a cold cut sandwich with chips.
Everything is processed at this point. I know it doesn't get on to something real.
I'm just saying, like none of like maybe you have an apple, but like. Cold cuts are pumped with preservatives. They're not great for you. Bread is, all these carbs. That's not great for you. Chips, just salt and carbs. Like none of it's that good for you. Like I said, maybe you have an apple. Maybe you have a banana at some point. A midday snack of some cookies. And then it comes dinner time and you'll have like mac and cheese, which is just like more just processed garbage. And then it's like, 7, 8 o'clock at night, whatever time, like, let me have a bowl of ice cream before bed. So like, you're starting your day with this bowl of sugar. You're ending it with a different form of like dairy sugar.
What's keeping you alive is that possibility that you ate half of an apple. Yeah.
Like, and I just think back, I was like, that is like, it's just not good for you. And but that to me is like, was like my typical American childhood.
I look back on it. I remember being a kid and like eating ice cream and then like you try to make it like soupier and stuff. Like kids, I'm like, I look back on it now. I'm like, how can someone eat like, I'll have ice cream. I can only have a little bit. I can't eat like, I can't justify eating a big bowl or like just eating it right out of the thing of ice cream. It's just like, I feel like gross. Like the thought of just doing that. I'm like, I don't know. I just can't. I can't get behind it.
Okay. Did you take vitamins? I have to ask you. Did you have a vitamin?
Vitamins? I took those. Look how I turned out.
Flintstones.
Yeah, chalk Flintstone vitamins.
I think I did take a vitamin as a child, but that's like another thing where if you're eating healthy, you don't need vitamins.
Right. But children get vitamins. They do.
Whenever I go for my physical, my doctor always asks, "Oh, did you change anything?"
Yeah.
And the one year I remember, I'm like, "Yeah, well, I'm starting to take vitamins." She's like, "Why?" She kind of gave me like a why. I'm like, "Oh no, they're like She's like, to be honest, like, she's like, you eat healthy. Like, she's like, I understand if you're taking like an omega or like, if you take zinc and vitamin C when you like feel like, before a trip or after a trip to like boost your immune. Like, I get that. But like, she's like, you don't have to take it every day.
Yeah.
Like, it's just your body. Like if you're healthy, you develop, you produce however much of it.
Fran, if I remember correctly, I know we're changing gears here a little bit, but you and Dan used to cook a lot together, and he was always involved in that, right?
Always. Well, remember, he came from this restaurant family. Yes.
And so what, cooking for you guys when you guys were, well and retired and enjoying yourselves, what was that like? Was he just pulling recipes out of a book for you guys to try? Like,
No, he was remembering different places that we lived and remembering what things tasted like. And he would say, oh,
reverse engineering food.
He'd say, oh, I just wish that I had a tenderloin from Quincy, Illinois. And so I would look in the freezer to see if I happened to have a pork tenderloin that I could get out and butterfly it and pound it and dip it and roll it and then fry it. So that he could have these memories of food. But he was all about food. In fact, when he would first get up.
A guy that size, he needs to be about food.
Oh, he would come down singing. He always sang when he first got up. And we would dance around in the kitchen a little bit while he was singing. Oh, what a beautiful morning. And then he would say, all right, let's see, what can we have for breakfast that's really, really good? Oh, how about some hash browns and a couple of eggs and some bacon? Do we have bacon? He would, and then toast with jelly. And he made it.
I got a diner.
It was so much fun. If eating for him was fun. And so that was my place. That was my office. And so that's the way it was. And then I would say, anything special you're thinking of for dinner? And then sometimes it would be a lot of vegetables because his mother did cook that way. And she would call things green bean commerce. It was a German dish with green beans that you have to snap, okay, and red potatoes that would be cut in small pieces, and then a piece of ham, like a ham hock. And you just cook that, and then when you get ready to serve it, you have to chop your onions very fine and sprinkle them on top of your bowl. And he loved that. One of his favorite things. In fact, when you talk about food, if you have to learn to make food, and one of the things you have to learn to do is use knives. You have to have good knives.
The sharper the better.
Sharper the better.
That was one of my first jobs inside here. When I finally started doing the inside work.
Sharper the knives.
I remember sitting where you're sitting, Fran, and you guys had bought something that Dan found about sharpening knives, and it was a pile of knives on the table, and then me just bleeding.
That's right. And you really do need to chop things. And when you're chopping, you need to be consistent so that you don't have some big pieces and some little pieces.
Yeah.
It will not cook the same.
Here's one thing that I love cooking, cook often. I go through phases though. Sometimes I'm cooking all the time. Then I'm like kind of over it. I'm like, I take like a week or two hiatus. I'm like, I don't feel like cooking it. I'm just like, and then I get back into it. But one thing I can't stand is people who linger in the kitchen. When I'm cooking, let me cook. When people get involved and this and that, like if I'm cooking, if I'm in control, don't come in helping when you don't know what needs helping. That's my kitchen at that point. I don't want someone lingering. Oh, that looks good. This looks good. Yeah. No, get back to the table or get out of the room. That's how I feel. Sometimes when I'm a kid, that's my spot right now. When people come in, they linger in, they're commenting this and that. It's just like, hey, beat it. You'll have food in an hour or 30 minutes, whatever it is.
Well, and it depends when you talk about food. Is it's going to be summer food? That's very different from winter food. Ooh. When you think about it, winter food.
I've considered soul food. It's very warming. You eat it, just your whole body is great. Yep. Summer's a little light, refreshing. You want to be light and refreshing because most of the time you're drinking. It's nice. It's, get the sun. You're at the beach. You don't want to be eating something heavy and then you feel heavy. You want to be light and airy.
Yeah, you don't want to turn on the oven. You're going to do it on the grill.
Yeah.
And peaches grilled are wonderful. So if you haven't done that.
Grilled peaches, interesting.
Yeah, they're really good.
I don't know if I ever told you this, Fran. My mom, growing up, always told my brother and I, you have to learn to cook because you'll never find a woman to cook for you. She said, because my mom believed that, like, you know, they took home ec away from women and let them in the shop class. So,
you don't believe a woman will cook for me? I don't believe I'll ever get a woman. What?
So that is something that she has always told me. And, you know, when I was younger, I started just helping her in the kitchen because I got in my head that, you know, I don't need a woman to cook for me, but I want to be able to cook the things I like.
Yes.
Because this is how I like, you know, to make sauce or chicken or whatever. So
right.
I think it's important, you know, if someone in your life is cooking for you, help them with their permission and learn how to do it yourself because
with their permission, with their consent, you know, we need their consent before you step into my kitchen.
I'll tell you, my uncle who's in his 70s gets so excited when my great aunt who's in her 90s makes meatballs because it just brings him back to the way my grandma would make them. And he's like a little kid all over again. So it's like a time machine of food.
Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah.
I know. And, you know, think about Christmas or Hanukkah, either one, that there's certain foods that you just can't have it. If you don't have that food, then it's not Hanukkah, it's not Christmas. So food is very important. And it's also important that every single person learns how to make it and cook it and choose it well, you know, and keep it right in the refrigerator. Which drawer do you put it in? You know, what needs to be frozen? What can't be frozen? There's so many things to it. That's why they should teach more home ec. They should.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like home ec, like I feel like I did a month's worth of home ec. You know, it's like county jail time in home ec. You know, it's like you get by. I don't know. I mean, I never had it. I don't think, did we ever have home ec for a full year?
It's the class where, I don't know for a full year. That's the one where you make the pillow.
Yeah, you make a pillow, you make pants, and then it's like, all right, you're done. You figured it out. Like I can home ec. I get it. But you didn't learn enough.
Yeah.
No. And there should be life skills.
Stuff, which was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, life skill course.
I
would love to be that teacher.
Yeah.
I would thrive. I'd be great at it.
You would be.
I'd be, my mother would be upset if I don't mention her father, whenever he gave, like, you know, would go shopping with my grandma, always said, buy the best. This is what we're putting in our body. So you have the note here. You are what you eat.
Yes.
It all goes back to that quality over quantity.
That's true. That's
good fuel.
That's a good point.
Yeah. Farm to table, all that stuff. The healthier, the better. It is nice. It's satisfying too. Like if you have like a garden and you grow it and then you take that and then you cook with it and make sauce, whatever it is, it's just feels right.
Have either of you eaten any, like, what's like the weirdest food you can remember trying? Any crickets or bugs or?
Dan did. Chocolate covered crickets.
I would totally try one of those.
Oh, he thought they were delicious. He did. Oh, he loved to travel the world and he would try anything. He never asked what was in it. And if it looked okay, he ate it.
Yeah. I will try. Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm not going to turn my head really. So I'll try everything.
Right.
At least once. Some things, maybe not, but food, yes. Food. We're talking about food. We're still on food.
Do you have any weird food that you've eaten that you can remember?
I ate fried oyster eggs, which was interesting. So I always love oysters, and I've had like fried like stuff like that. But it was like their oyster eggs are kind of in like this weird like sack thing. So you like it's fried and you bite it, and it was just it was good. It definitely had a very stronger fishier taste than traditional oysters.
Okay, I think
that's some fancy restaurant.
I think I'll pass on that.
Pass me a crab cake.
Yeah, I ate a fried sack of oysters. That's basically what it was.
Okay. I just have some. I don't know if there's any other food topics. I got just some fun more questions like we kind of did last week.
Yeah.
This was all right. So speaking of seafood, lobster or crab?
Oh, I got sick eating lobster. You dip it in butter.
Yeah.
And so I haven't had any lobster since I got sick.
Wow.
No, so I would say crab.
I think I might go. I mean, as much as I love like a surf and turf, but like I think I'll go crab.
Oh, yes.
Evan, what would you like?
I think lobster rolls are really good, but you got to get them like a real one, not like just like thrown on like a hot dog bun. Like you got to go somewhere nice.
Right.
But I love a good crab cake too. So
Yeah.
That's why crab cakes.
Yeah.
Crab cakes. Hold it down.
Yeah.
all right. Cookies or brownies?
Cookies.
That's one of those ones. That's one of those ones. Gun to the head. I don't know.
Fire away.
I don't know. Brownies.
Okay. Apples or oranges?
Apples.
Apples. I feel like that's a stupid question.
We live in apple country.
Yeah. Not from Florida.
All right. Just a few more. An easy one. Water or soda?
Water.
Who in their right mind is going to pick soda? You'd have to ask a 12-year-old kid. Fanta or Mountain Dew.
I've met adults that don't like water.
It's insane. Insanity.
My son Matt doesn't like water.
Wow. You made up of it. You're made up of it. You're literally flowing.
He has to have
right now.
He has to have seltzer. He doesn't. He doesn't want
tricked.
water.
Wow.
Yeah.
Water, 100%.
Yeah. Water.
All right. Breakfast, lunch, or dinner, and why?
Oh.
And I'll let you guys, just rank it.
Oh.
Rank your favorites.
Oh. Oh, well, dinner's my favorite.
Okay.
I love dinner.
And then what do you think? What do you have after that? Is it a toss up between breakfast and lunch?
I almost forget lunch. Breakfast, after
lunch is a big waste of time. That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's what you get paid to do, right? You get paid to waste time. When you get paid to take a lunch, go waste that time. Go waste it. Eat garbage or go eat something delicious. We don't care what you do. Waste our time.
Yeah. Breakfast is second. And I don't know about lunch because I almost never eat lunch.
See, I'm the opposite because talk about relationship with food. I do the intermittent fasting. So I try to not eat between 6 p.m. and 11 a.m.
Okay.
So
you ever just look at foods like after 6 p.m. You just look at it and you're like, ooh, I would eat you. I would eat you.
I mean, I'm looking. Yeah. I mean, Fran knows how much I love these sugar almonds. And, but
yeah,
I've disciplined.
Okay.
Trying to be disciplined. So,
okay.
But I admit, I'll have breakfast on the weekends and like a stack of chocolate chip pancakes. It's so unhealthy for you, but it's all that sugar. It's just.
So you're going lunch is numero.
I would actually put dinner then lunch.
Okay, so you go and then so it was dinner, lunch, breakfast. You're putting breakfast in third.
No, dinner, breakfast, lunch. Because lunch can kind of lunch is like a toss up.
Okay.
Like lunch.
Okay. Yeah, lunch can easily be missed. Dinner. Breakfast can easily be missed. Lunch can easily be missed, and so can dinner. It depends on what time. Here's what it comes down to: what time of day and what day of the week it is. Look, if it's a weekend, I'm picking breakfast because it's nice. It's a big morning. You do it early. You have your stuff spread out. You kind of plan out your day. You can kind of
But have you ever had
BS?
I mean, you can have a nice, serious, enjoyable dinner. For lunch, I don't feel like you can ever really get to the. You
don't think lunch is serious?
You can't get to the depth that dinner gets to at a lunch.
Dinner, I think you're right. It's end of day. It's kind of like, you're looking back at what happened through the day, and that's what you're kind of talking about. Where lunch, it's kind of like, oh, what's going on? Or breakfast, it's what's going on today. Let's you put some thought into the day. So I'm going.
Does anyone ever have a sad breakfast?
I don't know. You ever go to brunch and people look miserable? No, because they're pounding back mimosas, okay? I've been to brunches. I've ate mimosas. I've eaten weed edibles at brunches. Brunches are a lot of fun. If someone invites you to a brunch, go to a brunch.
Yeah.
They're a blast.
Yeah. And you won't need to eat the rest of the day.
No, because after that, you're good. They're always ridiculous. So I'm going breakfast, and then I'm going dinner, and then lunch.
I think lunch came in third for all of us. Interesting. Everyone listening out there, if you made it through that, write in. Let us know your order for the breakfast, lunch, dinner, and what means the most. I'm
trying to get a fly on your shoulder.
Get him.
Eat it. We kind of. Last question. Fran, you have anything you want to add?
No, I'm good.
All right. Justin, do you want to tell the listeners out there the difference between sweets, treats, and snacks? And then the person that told me to bring this up wanted to know what you would prefer, sweets or treats. The floor is yours.
Yeah, there's. Well, he said sweets or treat. I mean, treats are right. Wait, what was the question? The difference between snacks,
sweets, and treats.
Sweets and treats. Sweets and treats. Well, hold on. I'm going to explain my sweets and treats are both kind of sweet, right? But snacks tend to be on the saltier side. Mm-hmm. Like I'm not going to snack on pie. That's a sweet. That's a treat. Mm-hmm. You know, so snack is something kind of like on the go. It's easy. Like, yeah, you can probably have an ice cream go on the go, but that's a sweet. That's not a snack. You don't snack on ice cream. And even if they have remember those little frozen ice cream things that were like little chocolate ice cream things, individuals, you can eat like 12 of them or 15, however many. You don't snack on those. You're just being gluttonous and gross. You're eating a lot of sweets in a snack time frame. So that's my debacle.
Do you feel like everyone's going to understand that?
No one's going to understand that. I did, however, I remember my buddy used to work with, I used to always be snacking. So whether it was apples, you know, whether it was fruit or snacks, chips, whatever.
Apples are not salty.
Well, you know what? No, that's okay. Well, you know what? Leave the apples out of it. Whatever everybody else was snacking on, I had to be snacking on that. Some would call that scrounging. You're scrounging with people. Was I a scrounge? I don't know. You tell me. Probably. But no, he was. That was around the time I moved to California, and I was coming back for Christmas, and he told his new girlfriend at the time, "Oh yeah, Justin really likes snacks or whatever." So the first time I met her, we were at his house, and she came up to me like, "Oh, like, you know, I was talking about, to Kyle, and he was telling me, so and that you're into like snacks or whatever," which is kind of like a weird conversation. But she brought me over Starburst. She brought me over like mini Starburst, and I looked at her. I'm like, "Yeah, that's not a snack. That's a treat." And I walked away. Sassed her right there.
Ooh.
You want to apologize for that now, or you stand by it?
I'm not gonna apologize. It was funny. It was funny because at the same time, it's like you don't snack on Starburst. They gunk up your teeth. You need to brush your teeth after them.
Okay.
All right, yeah, so, candy's bad for you.
Candy's not a snack. It's a sweet.
Fran, any last messages for the people? What they need to know about food?
Well, be careful with sugar.
Careful with sugar.
Yes, because I am pre-diabetic. And so my body does not know how to process sugar anymore. So I'm very careful. And there's a book called Sugar, the Silent Assailant. And it's a big surprise when you find out that in like a hamburger bun, there's 3 teaspoons of sugar in a hamburger bun. So you may think you're not eating sugar when you really are.
I had a hamburger today.
Yes. See?
On a bun. The bun had sesame seeds, though, which are healthy for you, so we're good. We're good.
So I just want everyone out there to stay healthy. It's all right to have some sweet things, but have them in moderation.
Everything in moderation. And yes. If you can't pronounce it, you probably shouldn't eat it.
Yes. And this did not happen to me because I just ate a lot of sweets. Not that I didn't like them, but I did not eat a lot of sweets. What happened was medication. And that changed my life when I had my neck surgery. And the meds that I was on changed how my body processed food.
Yeah.
So now I'm careful, very careful. And I'm looking at that too and thinking, oh, I'd love some. But I'm not going to have any.
It's not worth it.
No, I got them because of you. So I'm going to put them in a little bag and you can take them to work tomorrow.
Awesome. There's so many reasons to do this podcast.
You get snacks for the week.
Sugar almonds.
She makes my lunch for the week.
All right, folks.
Yeah.
Eat healthy.
Yes.
Think about what you put in your body.
Yes.
Moderation.
Till next time.
Till next time. And let us know. Oh, yeah. We got to remind everyone. Find us at Tea With Fran Podcast on Instagram. Comment there.
Like, subscribe, do whatever you're supposed to do, or what you want to do.
Reach out to us.
You to do it, but
Tea With Fran Podcast on YouTube.
Yes,
find us there. Of course, we got the teawithfranmail@gmail.com email address, so you can write to us. If you know Justin, Fran, or myself, reach out to us directly.
Don't reach out to me. No, I'm kidding. Reach out to me, please.
We want to hear from you, especially about the podcast. It's always exciting. So take care of yourself, folks. And
Till next time.
Till next time.
Once I say till next time, it's done. That's it.
I know. Well, people got to know where to find us.
Right. Good night.